sources of energy and pays a lot of attention to the environmental problems. Having such rich energy potential, China has all chances to becoming one of the leading countries in the field of renewable energy. Thank you, dear experts and audience. We give the floor to the developers from South Africa.
Thank you, China, very much for your contribution to that. And we are very happy to welcome our colleagues from South Africa. On the line, our first prize laureate from South Africa, representing the Senamo Masango Foundation. We're very happy to have you here, and we give the floor to you. Introduce yourselves, and let's start the presentation of South African report.
Good afternoon, dear experts. We are the winning team from South Africa. My name is Inambiza. Next slide, please. The young developers of our country have been interested in topics related to biofuel and nuclear energy, as our country aims to reduce energy emissions and develop green energy policy. However, topics about traditional fossil fuel were the least popular due to lack of these resources in our country. The main goal of our government is to enable electricity access for 100% of the population by year 2040. Next slide, please. To enable this aim, South Africa should try to cover half of the baseload energy demand by nuclear energy. Additional advantage of nuclear plants is using them for desalination of seawater. Nuclear desalination has been demonstrated and eyed as a viable option to meet the growing demand of potable water and provide hope to areas with acute water shortages in many arid and semi-arid zones. Nuclear desalination is defined to be the production of potable water from seawater in a facility in which a nuclear reactor is used as the source of energy for the desalination process. In recent years, the option of combining nuclear power with seawater desalination has been explored to tackle water shortages problems. Desalination can play a major role for big coastal cities in South Africa, such as Cape Town, Durban, and Port Elizabeth. South Africa has been experiencing water crisis over the past few years. That is why the desalination of seawater using nuclear energy in the South African coastal city is a feasible option to meet the growing demand of potable water. Slide, please. Problems which nuclear energy faces in South Africa. However, nuclear projects faces economic and political problems in South Africa. Firstly, the case for nuclear often seems to lose luster when the capital cost of new nuclear builds are presented. The installation costs of nuclear power stations are much higher than the alternative technologies because of the specific standards and safety requirements that are part of the new builds. It has further been deliberated that the cost of nuclear are determined by the unbelievable construction cost when considering dollar per kilowatt production. I will now hand over to my fellow citizen, Dineo. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ina. Some research, however, claims that the life cycle cost of nuclear power plants make nuclear power an affordable form of electricity because as soon as the construction costs are amortized, these nuclear power plants can possibly provide the lowest cost of electricity among all other types of energy sources on the grid. The second challenge is the historical secrecy in conducting nuclear deals that has raised public concerns of suspected unethical conduct, corruption, and possible rent-seeking. The lack of consistency is the result to implement the nuclear agenda across successive political administrations has highlighted the political divide in endorsing the new build of nuclear power plants, thereby causing implementation delays in the country. Another challenge is around nuclear energy impact on public health. This is a global challenge. The human health aspects that are synonymous with the nuclear energy discussion because of the impacts of nuclear waste and radiation have prompted debates on the social impact of the energy source. The lack of technical capabilities is another identified challenge in South Africa in the nuclear space, and this is a risk particularly to the country's public procurement policies that support local content requirements to promote local production of materials that are required in a capital-intensive project such as a nuclear power plant, as well as the national drive to significantly reduce technology imports in favor of local technologies. In terms of the development of non-traditional sources of energy, South Africa is also involved in the development of these non-traditional sources of energy. A company, for example, called Wonderbag is one of the companies in this place that can convert municipal solid, medical, abattoir, sawmill, and agricultural waste to energy, and this can be either electricity, gas, and or heat. They can also change plastic and waste oil into diesel and offer a waste to energy as well as a waste to water solution tailored for islands. The city of Johannesburg, a municipality, has a clean energy project which captures methane from 5 landfills to produce clean energy for the city, as well as green energy through biogas. Another example of the development of non-traditional sources of energy is Green Cape, which is a non-profit organization which helps push the technological frontier by engaging with businesses, investors, government, and academia on ways to promote a greener economy and facilitate ideation and implementation processes. They are also able to provide information for foreign investors to understand the local economy while boosting investor confidence and aiding the government with the development of standards, policies, and regulations for a greener economy. I will now hand over to my colleague and fellow citizen, Lynn.
Thank you very much, Dineo. Moreover, South Africa has implemented new biofuel projects, such as the use of biogas as feedstock for coal-fired boilers in the sugar industry. Sugar refineries that are using biogas are considered to have an installed generation capacity of 245 megawatt equivalent. Concept of smart city. South Africa has adopted a plan, Smart City, to achieve the main goals of reducing emissions and giving access to clean energy for everyone. A smart city is a place where traditional networks and services are made more flexible, efficient, and sustainable with the use of information, digital, and telecommunication technologies to improve its operations for the benefit of its inhabitants. 4 categories of smart opportunities are waste projects, smart transportation, renewable energy, and street and light optimization. In conclusion, South Africa tends to develop biofuel energy and nuclear energy. However, the production of such fuels is very expensive. That is why the implementation of this project is slowing down. The retirement of traditional fossil fuels requires action in order to assure sustainable energy supply that will translate into economic growth. Thank you very much, experts and participants, for your attention. I'll give back the floor to the moderator.
Thank you very much. South Africa, it was an amazing contribution to the BRICS Strategy Outlook 2020. And I think that right now we can declare officially, not only myself, not only